Hi, it's Tash from Tash's Library. Apologies for not having made a video for ages, mainly because I was on holiday and making a video felt a little bit like work. I was probably a bit in a slump and I was mood reading and kind of filmed my TBR for January and then decided I didn't want to follow it anyway and I just didn't post it. So apologies. But I think I'm back on track, and in order to be kind to myself, I've promised myself that I will always do my TBR videos, but then I'm going to see how I feel about other videos. But yes, if there are any particular videos you do enjoy that I make, let me know, because that might inspire me to do those. But without further ado, we're going to do my February TBR game. And this will be the last iteration of this particular game because I'm jazzing it up for March. Yes, I know, I'm doing new cards, new board a little bit, just changing it a little bit. But anyway, let us begin with the rolls. And here's the TBR board game. So as usual, I'm going to be playing my little trusty Lego Eeyore. He's just adorable. I really like him. And he's going to start here. Going to throw 2 dice. If I throw a double, I have to add an extra roll. Once again, the colors correspond to different colored cards. So red is titles and prose, blue is genres, settings and tropes, green is covers and formats, gold is stats and authors, and silver is it's so random, which means we have to play some sort of other game, or picker wheels, etc. If I land on the bookworm spaces, I have to play the bookworm game, which gives me far more obscure prompts. So without further ado, let us start. I'm going to do 8 rolls this month. I'm not sure I can read 8 books, but you know what? Let's give it a go. So roll number 1 is a 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is green, covers and formats. Just going to shuffle them up a bit. Let's take that one. Plant on cover. Awesome. Okay, so that could be anything, flower, plant of any kind. That should be pretty easy to find. Plants on the cover. For this one, I am going to be a little bit kind to myself. There's a book I really want to read, and it does have trees on the cover. Now, these are very stylistic trees, but they're plants nevertheless. And I do want to read this. It's been on my TBR forever, and I want to get to it. And this is The Witch and the Tsar. So this one is described as a delicate weaving of myth and mystery, which follows Baba Yaga, who lives deep in the Russian forest, tending to any that call upon her for healing potions and vast wisdom. She has been alone for centuries with only her beloved animals for company, but when the wife of the Tsar shows up at Yaga's cottage on the brink of death, Yaga is compelled to travel with her to Moscow to keep her safe. However, the Russian Yaga sees as she makes her journey to the heart of the country is one on the brink of chaos. Tsar Ivan, soon to become Ivan the Terrible, grows more volatile and tyrannical by the day, and Yaga believes the Tsaritsa is being poisoned by an unknown enemy. So yes, it sounds really cool, set in 16th century Russia. It does tell the story of Baba Yaga, and I've heard really good things about this one, and I do want to read it. Roll number 2. Ooh, it's a 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's red. Titles and prose. All right, so I'm just going to shuffle these up a little. Let's get this one. Profession. Interesting. So that would mean that the title would have some sort of profession on it. So it could be a warrior. It could be king, queen. It could be a professor, whatever. Let's see what I can find. For profession, I am going to once again be a little bit creative And I'm going to pick another book that I wanted to read last year. It was a 2023 release that I never got to, and that is The Magician's Daughter. I've heard really good things about this one. And, you know, profession, magician. You can be a magician as a profession. Now, this one is set off the coast of Ireland, on a legendary island hidden by magic. A place of ruins and ancient trees, sea salt air and fairy lore. This is the only home Biddy has ever known. Washed up on its shores a baby, Biddy lives a quiet life with her guardian, the mercurial magician Rowan, a life she finds increasingly stifling. One night, Rowan fails to return from his mysterious travels, and to find him, Biddy must venture into the outside world for the first time. But Rowan has powerful enemy forces who have hoarded the world's magic and has set their sights on the magician's many secrets. I've heard this is really cute, and I've heard it's got a really good animal companion, so I'm sold. Roll number 3. So far, so good, and that's an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blue is genres, settings, and tropes. Let's see, what am I gonna get? Romance. Okay, so this either has to be a book that is a romance, or I have to pick another genre that has romance in it, I think. Though I think this is actually just a romance book. I'm not too happy about that. I'm not in the mood for romance at the moment. But anyway, let's give it a go. Romance. I'm never that excited when I get romance prompts, mainly because I'm not a massive romance reader. And I don't like romance in my fantasy or science fiction. And therefore I have to go to kind of cozy romantic comedy books. But I do have one that I have been wanting to read, and that is The Kiss Quotients. This kind of sounds a bit nerdy, and I like nerdy romances. So this is described as a heartwarming and refreshing debut novel that proves one thing: there's not enough data in the world to predict what will make your heart tick. And it follows Stella, who thinks mathematics is the only thing that unites the universe. She comes up with algorithms to predict customer purchases. But it doesn't help that Stella has Asperger's, and French kissing reminds her of a shark getting its teeth cleaned by pilot fish. So basically she needs practice in order to be able to date, and so she hires escort Michael Fan. So yes, let's look. I don't know what to expect from this. I could love it or I could hate it. If it's anything like The Love Hypothesis, I will love it. If it gets stupid and it gets very tropey, I may hate it. I don't know, but I do like nerdy STEM romances, so I'm going to give it a go. Roll number 4. Ooh, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Red, titles and prose. So I think I had shuffled them, so let's go. Color in the title. Okay, so any book that has any color in the title. I've got heaps of those. Should be pretty easy to find one. Color in the title. Now there's so many I want to read for this. And yes, I kind of wanted to read Red Sister or Red Rising, and there's so many books I want to start, but I'm also wary of starting new series. So I have to be careful, and there's a book that has been on my shelf for quite some time. I've heard great things about it, and it also fulfills the Buzzwordathon prompt for February, which is a positive word. So I'm going to pick this one, and that is Redemption in Indigo by Karen Lord. Indigo, of course, being a color, and I think redemption kind of works as a positive word. Now, I've heard Karen Lord is really good, and I haven't read this yet, and I haven't read any of her books yet, and I'm kind of keen to give that a go. The synopsis says that bad enough that he followed her to her parents' home in the village of Makenda, now he's disgraced himself by murdering livestock and stealing corn. So this is referring to Pama's husband. When Pama leaves him for good, she attracts the attention of the Undying Ones, the Jajombi, who present her with a gift, the Chaos Stick, which allows her to manipulate the subtle forces of the world. Unfortunately, not all the Jumbi are happy about this gift. The Indigo Lord believes this power should be his and his alone, and he sets about trying to persuade Pama to Return the Chaos Stick. This is described as a contemporary fairy tale with spider tricksters and indigo immortals inspired by a Senegalese folk tale. I love folklore, and it sounds like it's really cool, like African inspired. I'm looking forward to it. Roll number 5 is a 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blue. Genres, settings, and tropes. Let's pick up this one. Horror. Okay. Once again, not really in the mood for horror, but I'm sure I can find something. Horror. Okay, I don't read a lot of horror, but I do have a few, and I do have some books that are more horror adjacent. So this is one that I've been wanting to read for quite some time, and it's Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. I absolutely love Ray Bradbury. The books I've read so far, I've really enjoyed. I've really seen his genius in communicating particular themes. Now, I don't know what this one is like, but it is set in All Hallows Eve with Cougar and Dark's Pandemonium Shadow Show. So hear the music, see the lights, shrug off life's worries, and enter a place where dreams are not dreams and wishes can be real. All this awaits 2 boys trembling on the brink of manhood, but entering the smoke, mazes and mirrors, they will discover that not all dreams are worth the price that must be paid. So this is seen as a rite of passage book that is quite dark. So I think it's got horror elements in it, and I have wanted to read it for quite some time. So this is the one that's going on my TBR. Roll number 6. Of course, it's a double. Okay. Anyway, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's gold. So that's stats and authors. So this could be about publication. It could be whether it's new author to me, debut author, etc. Let's pick up. I don't know which one I want to pick up. I'm so scared. Female author. Okay, that should be quite straightforward. Female author. So many options, but I'm going to pursue my quest to complete series. And therefore, I'm going to read The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin, which is the second book in the city's duology. The first book is set in New York, and it basically follows these people who become avatars for the different boroughs of New York in order to protect New York from a supernatural threat. It was just so beautifully written, and the characters were so endearing yet flawed. I loved it so much. It was one of the best books I read last year, and I am super keen to complete this. I've been waiting for it to be released in the mass paperback size so that it can match my, the city we became. But anyway, this is going to be on my TBR, and that will get me a series completed for the year. Awesome. Roll number 7 is a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Green. That's covers and formats. Shuffle them up. Let's get this one. Favorite color. Okay. Well, my favorite color is green, which means I have to find a book with green on the cover. Favorite color. Well, my favorite color is green. And you may know there's not a lot of books that are released in green. Yes. However, I have been lucky, and I have found a green book that will continue a series. And therefore, I'm going to go with The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik, which is the second book of the Scholarmance series. This was cool. The first book kind of followed, it's basically the school where anyone with any sort of magical powers, magical potential is sent to the school. And there are no teachers, there's no supervision, there's no specific courses. And the idea is you need to just survive. There are things out to kill you at this school and you can die on any day. You need to survive, and then graduation is one hell of a hectic ride. And basically you're just trying to get out of the school, and there are no holidays. You are there for the duration of your high school, and good luck to you. Now, I did find the main character a little bit annoying in this. However, I did quite enjoy it, and I definitely want to continue it. I enjoyed the premise, and I'm looking forward to just completing the trilogy and seeing where it goes. Roll number 8 is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gold. Another stats and authors. Let's go with this one. A standalone. Cool. Standalone, I'm going to go with a book that, once again, I've wanted to read for quite some time. I'm really trying to hit my backlog if I can't hit some of my series, and therefore I'm going to go with Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. And this looks at London, where London then has a whole world underneath its streets. Richard Mayhew stops to help a girl he finds bleeding in the street, and his unremarkable life changes in an instant. And this leads him to a place filled with murderers and angels, pale girls in black velvet, a beast in a labyrinth, and an earl who holds court in a tube train. It is strangely familiar yet utterly bizarre. Here is London below, the city of people who have fallen between the cracks. And I haven't read any Neil Gaiman, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about that because I've heard really good things about him. And I think this one is one that I'd kind of like, because I like that kind of urban fantasy with alternative dimensions and worlds to it. So I think I'm going to enjoy this one. And hopefully the final roll. No, not the final roll, but that's okay. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's blue, genres, settings, and tropes. Blue has not been kind to me today. Bit worried. Non-human protagonist. Okay, that should be pretty straightforward. Non-human protagonist. I was kind of torn here. I wanted to read maybe book 7 of the Murderbot Diaries, but it hasn't been released in the same size as my other books yet, so I'm not going to buy it. So I've decided to continue a series. I know, surprise, surprise. And this is Ancillary Sword by Anne Leckie. The first one was Ancillary Justice, and it follows a sentient sort of spaceship that can inhabit multiple bodies. And she finds herself, she calls herself she at the time, but anyway, they find themselves in one human body. And it's just like, it's such a fest of political intrigue and intriguing world building, and I can't wait to continue this series. And final roll. Yay, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a red. Another titles and prose one. Let's see, let's pick this one. A one-word title. Easy, I have heaps of these. And finally, one-word title. I'm going to read once again another book that has been on my TBR for a very, very long time, and I have wanted to read but have also been slightly intimidated by, and that is Neuromancer by William Gibson. So this isn't a very large book, but it's meant to be a foundational book in cyberpunk, and I really do want to read it. Because even if I don't like it, I think it's going to be just one of those science fiction books that I would have liked to have read. So the synopsis here is: Case was burnt out, useless, suicidal. His nervous system grievously maimed by wartime Russian mycotoxin. The top Japanese experts in nerve splicing and microbionics had taken his money and left him crippled. His days as a software cowboy seemed over. Then he met a man who could cure him. In return, he had to do a job. Had to, because bonded to his artery walls were tiny sacs of the mycotoxin. Tiny sacs slowly melting. So this is a debut novel. It is described as kind of a glamour of Samuel Delaney, mix of the vertigo of Philip K. Dick. I've heard good things about it, and I've heard it's just such a foundational novel, and I haven't read it yet, and I really want to. So this is going to go on my February TBR. Editing Tash here, and I just realized that I completely forgot to film an outro. So just wanted to pop in and say thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please like, comment, subscribe if you feel like it, and I shall see you soon. And until I do, take care.